Glad to have you with us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. On today's show, we are talking potential trade destinations for Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III. And some of you may be thinking, wait, what? Kenneth Walker getting traded here? Well, let's kind of catch you up to speed before we go over the places he could end up. The first question that's on the minds of 12s out there is there still a spot for Kenneth Walker on this football team? It is turning into a very crowded running back room with K9 along with Zach Charbonnet and Kenny McIntosh. You just brought in Damien Martinez. George Holani is there. You're also bringing back the fullback position as well. And with Kenneth Walker on the final year of his rookie contract, if anyone is going to get moved, then he is most likely the odd man out of that equation. Now, there have been several reports in the last few weeks that the Seahawks are shopping the running back position, and that has turned into Kenneth Walker being the focus of the player most likely to get traded if Seattle were to move on from one of their running backs. So what does the running back room look like right now? Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, I think, are pretty much running back 1A and running back 1B at this point. Charbonnet did a really good job when he filled in for Kenneth Walker when Walker was banged up last year, and he was just as good, if not better, than what Kenneth Walker was in 2024. Kenny McIntosh, when he's been given opportunity, when he's been out there, he has turned into a really solid running back. I have a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement about Damien Martinez, of what he's going to bring to the table, the 7th-round pick out of Miami. I thought there was tremendous value in selecting him. We had about a 4th to 5th-round grade on him, and you were able to get him in the 7th round. And then George Holani wasn't bad for UDFA last year. The fullback position, it's either going to be Brady Russell or Robbie Oots. Right now, Russell is the starting fullback at the moment, but Oots will get the opportunity to win that job here in training camp. And now let's see where things go from here, how the dominoes fall as they may. So we'll go over the top trade destinations and tell you more about this situation in a moment. But I got a quick question that I want to ask the 12s out there. Do you want the Seahawks to keep Kenneth Walker? If you do, go ahead and like today's video. If not, if you want to see him traded, comment and tell me why. Let me know which way or another you lean towards. Like it if you want to keep him. Comment why you want to move on from him if you feel that way. Let us know one way or another. Now, I have said on this program over the last couple of months, when it comes to Kenneth Walker III, I think you're better off keeping him, even if you let him walk in free agency next season for nothing, and get the most out of him, run him into the ground this year, and get everything you can, rather than just trading him, in all likelihood settling for a day 3 pick. I can't imagine that there's going to be a ton of trade value for Kenneth Walker III on the market. Not to mention, the draft's already passed by, so that day 3 pick you didn't even get to use in this past draft. You got to wait till next year, potentially, if that happens. Not to mention as well, the Seahawks have had some bad luck when it comes to the running back position with the injury issues over the years. You can go all the way back to Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, and more recently, we've seen Walker, Charbonnet, McIntosh, all banged up. You need your strength in numbers. I think you need as many as you can because history tells us you're going to use all of them at some point in time just based on that bad luck that we've seen. Kenneth Walker was a 2nd-round pick back in 2022, had a terrific rookie season where he rushed for over 1,000 yards. That's the only time that he's done that in his career, as he was named to the Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie Team. He's led the Seahawks in rushing each of the last 3 seasons, but we have seen his numbers take a decline year after year. That rookie campaign where he had over 1,000 yards, he rushed for 9 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry. But since then, it hasn't been great. In 2023, played the same number of games, and yet his yards and his average and touchdowns were down. Last year was the least amount of time we've seen Kenneth Walker on the football field, as he rushed for 573 yards, was less than 4 yards a carry, and 7 touchdowns this past season. So you have to wonder, is Kenneth Walker going to bounce back, or is this who he is at this point in his career? More to come here on Seahawks Today in a moment, but first, want to make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, as we are bringing you daily Seattle Seahawks coverage. We have live shows twice a week. We also are bringing you breaking news, Q&A mailbags. We have everything covered that you need to know throughout this offseason, talking trades, free agency, and more. If you love the Seattle Seahawks, this is the channel for you. I want to get at least 20 subs off today's video. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Never miss a moment. Lock us in for free. You'll be glad you did. So let's go over the top trade destinations. If Seattle were to move on from Kenneth Walker III, where could he likely end up? And as mentioned earlier, I don't think the trade value is all too high when it comes to Kenneth Walker based on the market that's out there. But even with that said, there would be plenty of teams that would be interested in his services. And the first team that comes to mind is the Dallas Cowboys, who have had some serious issues with their rushing attack. They've invested in their offensive line. They have a franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott. They have one of the best receivers in football in CeeDee Lamb, but they don't have much of a run game. Kenneth Walker could come in right away and make an impact there in Dallas. The Cincinnati Bengals have one of the most dynamic offenses in football, with Joe Burrow under center, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is back, but they could use some help in the run game. Kenneth Walker could be a good fit there in Cincy. How about the New Orleans Saints? They have a number of issues that they're dealing with on that team, but they've been pretty good when it comes to the running backs over the years, with the likes of Alvin Kamara, all the way back to Deuce McAllister, and among others. Kenneth Walker could be a good fit potentially in New Orleans. How about the Denver Broncos? The Denver Broncos look like a young, emerging team. Bo Nix had a solid rookie campaign in 2024. They have some good receivers there with Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims, among others, but they could use some help in the run game. He could be a difference maker for them. And then the last team that we'll put on this list is the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have invested more in their offensive line. They traded for Joe Thuney about a month or two ago. They obviously have a young franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams under center. They have some really good receivers, but kind of like the other teams we mentioned, they could use some help in that run game. Kenneth Walker could be a good fit for them. So those are the trade destinations. Let's ask you, what team will Kenneth Walker III play for this season? Does he end up back in Seattle, or does he go to one of the teams we mentioned, or somebody else out there? Predict it for me in the comments section where you think Kenneth Walker III is going to end up in 2025. Got a great deal for Seahawks fans. Rookie jerseys are on sale now at chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies, whether it's Gray Zabel or Jalen Milroe or a number of your favorite new Seahawks rookies here in 2025. We have all of their jerseys at chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies. And maybe you don't want a rookie jersey. That's fine, too. We also have Sam Darnold, as well as Cooper Kupp, JSN, among others, all at that same link. Go see for yourself, along with the other Seahawks merchandise that we have at that same link for you. Chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies to get yours today. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Some closing thoughts that I want to get to. As much as Kenneth Walker III is a good player, this is not denying that. This is not a knock on his talent level. Based on the running backs that are there, and the recent addition of Damien Martinez, also having Zach Charbonnet and Kenny McIntosh and all that, Seattle would be fine without Kenneth Walker III. If they decide to move him, the running back room is still going to be really good one way or another. I like Kenneth Walker, but let's face this reality here. He has not been reliable for this Seattle Seahawks team. That's not an unfair thing to say. That's a truthful thing to say. Now, it isn't all his fault. The offensive line has not done Kenneth Walker III any favors, as the offensive line has gotten worse year after year. But even on that end of things, he's been banged up a lot and has struggled to stay healthy. And all of that can't be solely blamed on the offensive line. Part of it does come down to Kenneth Walker III as well. So, although the offensive line is an issue, and hopefully it improves with the addition of Gray Zabel, he has struggled to stay consistent. And we showed you the numbers earlier that they have gone down a lot year over year. Not saying he can't come back and reemerge and be one of the top running backs in football, but it's been trending the wrong direction as of late. Now, if Seattle has to make a decision of which running back to keep between Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet, if they feel like that they have to move on from one of these two, both of them on rookie contracts, Charbonnet with 2 more years remaining, Kenneth Walker III with 1 more year remaining. They're the same age. They're both 24 years old, but I would lean towards keeping Zach Charbonnet if you make me choose between the two. 1 less year of mileage on the tires for Zach Charbonnet, 2 more years on his contract, and then the production. If you compare them mano a mano in 2024, Charbonnet's yards per carry was much higher than what Kenneth Walker's was at 4.3, along with 8 touchdowns, compared to Kenneth Walker, who rushed for 3.7 yards per carry, a career low, and 7 touchdowns this past season. So that's how I feel. It's not personal. It's business. I hope that Kenneth Walker stays. But if somebody's got to go, I think that we all know very well that Kenneth Walker would be the one that would have to go, and you would keep Charbonnet if you have to choose between the two. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.